Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. Reg's hair is being weird.
My hair is being weird.
Mine looks like I'm Cinderella, like I'm going to prom or
To
something.
the ball!
I don't know.
Accompany Cinderella to the
my,
ball before
my,
Pumpkin shows up.
oh, I know, my little top knot. We're talking about hair, but we're talking more importantly, equally as importantly, hair is important, but we're going to talk some Ring of Honor. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I can't believe it's already the middle of June. It's June 15th. We're on the other half of the year. This is crazy. We've got Forbidden Door around the corner. Impact has like a pay-per-view and a special every other day.
Every week, yeah, it's all the time.
All in. We got all out. We've got
Death Before Dishonor. We're going to talk about.
Which, what a rib, is in my home state and I can't go, which is such a bummer, but shaping up to be a fun little pay-per-view if they go the direction that we're thinking. But guys, get in those super chats, get in those humper chats, talk to us about what you thought about tonight's episode of Ring of Honor and what you're thinking about for Death Before Dishonor as well. We thank you guys so much for being here. But before we dive in, Reg, how are you? How we doing today?
I'm having a pretty nice day today. Did some Ask Rhapsody today. So if you are subscribed to Fightful Select, definitely check that out. Phil and I got into some very cool topics. There's been a lot of talk today about some of Phil's favorite guys, so made it a little bit easier. But fun Ring of Honor show. Wrestling has been very fun. So that's pretty much all I can say. How about you? How many podcasts have you done today?
This is my first one of the day.
Wow, only one cake?
My fifth one of the week.
All right.
But we're having fun because I love talking Thursday nights because I love talking Ring of Honor. But yeah, Chicago Phil's besties stirring it up again.
Always.
Maybe not stirring it up as much as some people might have thought, but there are
like
details.
You don't even know what it was stirring up what at this point. Like we're judging up on stuff we don't even know that they're stirring up.
There was a controversial interview, and this is how controversial it is. It hasn't even been released, and we're talking about how controversial it is. We don't know what was said in it, but we're gonna find out. Yeah. What a coincidence that happens to be the same week as Collision debuting, but
surprise!
Shocking.
The day before. Stuff. I don't know how we got that. It was a scheduled tweet.
What a coincidence. But guys, head over to FightfulSelect.com for more on that, on Chicago Phil, on Ask Rhapsody, on so many other scoops. There's a lot coming down the news. There's more contract news coming up. Plenty of stuff at FightfulSelect.com, including a nice feature on Nick Comoroto, which I think got released publicly for free, but initially was a Fightful Select little scoop ski. So head over there, get all of the good stuff, and we're going to talk about Nick Comoroto in a little bit. But we've got some chats that are coming in already, which we appreciate. I love this. You guys are so awesome to us that even when people couldn't watch, they still come to hang out. We've got the technical wizard, Chris Mueller, chiming in. All of your Bleacher Report needs, saying couldn't watch live. What was the best match? I think it was Mark Briscoe and Anthony Henry for me. That was
I like that match.
Yeah, that was a hard hitting one. My favorite story is probably this Dark Order and Righteous story, I would say. But and any differing opinions on that? Was there another match that you liked?
I think I like the main event, the for the Trios Championship with the Top Flight and them going in, because a lot of them got to get their stuff in. I don't really know if I like the result, but I like that match.
Yeah, that was a really good match too. I think Brian Cage is the most in his element that we've seen him, which I definitely appreciate. Ricardo Still No Surname always chiming in saying, missed the whole show, got to see it after this. Overall, I feel like this was a good episode. It wasn't great.
That's it. No.
Wasn't outstanding, but a lot of the complaints
the worst,
that I
wasn't the best. It was like, okay, this is good.
We got some champions. We got some good in-ring action. We've got, I feel like this women's division, man, is absolutely fire. Like I'm so excited to see that. But let's start off with, we get two quick promos, nothing huge to write home about, but our first match of the night is your ROH World TV title between Samoa Joe and Matt Sydal. Very fun opener, mix of styles, but ultimately going the way that you would expect. Samoa Joe beating Matt Sydal with a huge muscle buster.
Yeah.
Sydal's such a fun dance partner for him, not only because of the clash of styles, but because things like a scoop slam or whenever Samoa Joe was laying in them big boy moves, it looks really good because Matt Sydal is smaller and knows how to sell.
Yep.
My only kind of complaint with this, and I don't know if you're even going to care because it came from the 19-match marathon while you were out schmoozing with Willow and sitting in the media section, but
sorry.
It felt no, you're not, and you shouldn't
sorry.
be. You
absolutely not sorry. I love you, Willow.
Ounce of it. But they had set up this really fun angle of if Matt Sydal can pin either Zack Sabre Jr. or Samoa Joe, he could get a TV title shot. And there was kind of an in-ring story too of like, well, what if Christopher Daniels is the one to pin him? Is he going to give it to Matt Sydal? Like, how does this work? And then they didn't win. And then Matt Sydal cut a promo and gets a title shot anyway. Now, I pick Nits because ROH is, to me, the most logical, clean program in the world. Like, that's part of what I love about it is that we don't get logic gaps like this, but it kind of erased the stipulation of that. And to me, that tag match was one of my favorite matches they've done under the new ROH umbrella. So that was a little iffy, but I loved the match that we got. I'm intrigued to see where this goes at Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of directions it could go. But what did you think of our opener? And then we'll speculate wildly.
This was a really fun match. I think Matt Sydal, to your point, Matt Sydal selling combined with Samoa Joe's destroying ass moves looked great. I swear that power slam was just like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like just so close to the mat. So many things could go wrong, but these are like two exceptionally good professional wrestlers that know how to control this. Samoa Joe just looked angry. I don't know if he's looked angrier or Samoa Joe's always, when's he not angry, but I don't know. He says an extra little something. Maybe he's like, I got this TV show coming out. I got to show these guys like I'm worth something. So he's really beating guys up. A great showing going into this weekend's Collision match. You know what I mean? Big match, big showcase. Another thing to show that, you know, who Samoa Joe is. Going into that match, going into knowing he's going to be in the ring with CM Punk, I'm really excited about how he's going so far. But yeah, really fun opener, I thought. I didn't know that little piece because I haven't went back and watched the 19-match marathon. That is pretty interesting that he fought for something, and then he was just like, who cares, man? Give me a shot next week. And they're just like, all right, cool, go for it.
And the follow-up promo wasn't bad, but it feels like one of my consistent complaints is that we haven't been getting stories, and we had Zack Sabre Jr. setting up his cunning little plan, executing that plan perfectly, and then them just foregoing it. That match is one of the few that in that 19-match marathon you should check out because the storytelling was incredible in it, especially for where it looks like we might be heading with Samoa Joe and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes.
The Island Boys, baby. Good.
And also these new Forbidden Door developments. I'm like, I thought maybe Samoa Joe, but it's not looking like it. But things could change. I don't know.
So let's actually tap into that because I think there's a really fun ZSJ AEW crossover tour here where you could do Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. You could do Samoa Joe at Death Before Dishonor. Again, would be the
true.
biggest rib if they did that while it was in my backyard and I couldn't go. And then
it's gonna hurt.
ZSJ and Danielson at Wembley. I mean, that would not make me mad.
Nice
at
tour
all.
you got going on here, Kate. I'm liking what you're talking about.
However,
Okay, Death Before Dishonor could be the match that they have, and then Danielson and Zack Sabre at Wembley is
not shabby. However, it feels like Mark Briscoe is kind of waiting in the wings for this. Now you could have Zack Sabre Jr. lose, but Samoa Joe with the New Japan title feels off to me. It feels like
doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it feels like you want Joe to lose because my guess is he's going to be working Collision regularly, so he doesn't necessarily have to have this. Maybe it's not title for title. Maybe it's just two of the best TV champions there are. A lot of directions you can go with that, but it feels like Mark Briscoe should be your next TV champion.
I think so.
From my gut, right? Like,
for the ROH TV championship and the story that we'll get into eventually in the Mark Briscoe match, feels like he's the one that's destined to be the one to dethrone him. And so I don't know because I don't really see Zack Sabre Jr. as the Ring of Honor TV champion either. I don't know if that would be the right way to go. So
Yeah, now that we're out of the studio, I feel like that's a little bit tougher. Like if
right.
he just needed to show up for tapings and he's like, I got 4 defenses, mate, and you're good to
Mm-hmm.
go for like a
Mm-hmm.
month, that's an entirely different ballgame. But now that we're live again, I don't know if that's the right pivot. So maybe it's a non-title thing, but they
Yeah.
kind of lean pretty heavily into this TV title champions
Also,
thing.
yeah.
So we'll see. But I feel like it's Mark Briscoe's to take. It's his
Same
destiny.
here.
He was talking that shit later in the match.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
during the
love this
night.
little after match promo. He's like, I'm gonna whoop your ass or whatever he said. I was like, yeah, that's that shit.
he's so, I keep saying like my favorite thing with wrestlers when they like find their identity, it's like the thing that makes them unrepeatable. Like that's my favorite thing is when a wrestler taps into the thing that makes them like the most them. And any artist, music, anything. The unrepeatable magic is just so delicious when someone finds it. And Mark Briscoe is one of the most unrepeatable
You
TV
can't
characters.
clone. There's not another Mark Briscoe. Like there's some guys on the indies even that kind of do the same kind of character, you know, like backwoodsy, good old country boy, but no one
Not with
is
this like
like
lovable
Mark.
underbelly. Like
Exactly.
there's
Yes,
this
it's like
really
there's never been a moment. I've been a Briscoe's fan since legit 2001 that I've ever hated them. Like they've always given off that. Like even when they were heels, it was like, damn, these are some badass country boys right here, you know? So
yeah, there's something there's like a special tension between how lovable he is and how aggressive and badass he is. That's a really, really fun thing. But before we get to Mark Briscoe, we got a whole bunch of show to talk about, including this Nick Comoroto versus Deimos match. Deimos with Teal Piper in his corner. This was an interesting one because I feel like we're actually seeing some growth out of Nick Comoroto. This was not like my favorite match in the whole wide world, but we do get Comoroto winning. He's got his feet on the ropes for, I think it was an Alabama Slammer here. It's there's always going to be matches when something's this match heavy and 2 hours long that feel a little superfluous, but keeping in mind the intention of ROH is probably to help bring some of these guys along a little bit. I think this was a really good showing for Nick Comoroto. I think we're seeing escalation of the ways that he works heel, and we're seeing improvement in the ring, and that is awesome. Shout out again to that feature that Sean wrote on him that hit home as someone with a severe ADHD. It was very nice to read about someone succeeding and thriving in his life who has it. But a good match and a good showing from Deimos too. You know, it was kind of fun to have two big boys going at it here. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll say not my favorite match. We know what kind of matches Righteous Reg like. So I was like, interesting choice over here. But I
Nick
do
Comoroto,
the one thing.
the Spot Fu King, obviously.
With this fedora. There's a kind of a string of things that happens in this episode where it's like there's some new people kind of getting shine. There's a women's match in here that's interesting coming up here where it's like it's not competitors that we see, it's competitors that we've seen before, but they're establishing them as being someone to watch out, not just like the job people or the people that are here to make anybody else look good. So for Nick Comoroto to come over here and start establishing himself away from whatever he used to be doing. I can't even remember what Nightmare Factory or QT stuff, whatever, to separate from that and establish himself. I think this was a good showing. I like to see some better things going forward, but investing in the future is always cool.
Yes. And I think, it's funny. I feel like WWE has turned into, in baseball, you have single A, double A, triple A majors, right? It's like NXT is kind of that double A, triple A area. And they have Level Up, which is not a TV product and is fully developmental. And then you have the non-TV side of it. We don't really have that cast system in the AEW world yet. And that you might be getting Claudio Castagnoli, or you might be getting this, really, let's call it a developmental match for Nick Comoroto. So trying to marry a lot of words.
Going from Samoa Joe and Matt Sydal to this is like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah, and I don't even have I have no issues with that too, because I think it's good. It's encouraging to see that. But it is, your expectations shift throughout an episode as opposed to when you're sitting down to watch like older ROH where you knew
Right.
exactly what it was, or modern day AEW or WWE. So but nothing outstandingly wrong with it. I always love seeing wrestlers progress and get better, so I will take it.
AEW Dark, we miss you, old friend. That's what this is. There's no more AEW Dark, so they have to have this somewhere, and ROH is the somewhere. But like
ROH is the somewhere right now.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see what happens after the Collision roster gets clarified, because it feels like I've kept extending the timeline of what has felt like it was reasonable.
Yeah.
But when we've seen tapings, and Collision and ROH are going to be taping together, we've seen a little more crossover than is comfortable. Now, we also have like Stokely Hathaway's down there now, right? We have a board of directors. Like it feels like we're inching closer to that clarity. So I'm hoping we finally get that, but
and I'm hoping with I'm hoping with the second show with Collision, that with wrestlers being able to be on both sides, we won't get so much to that. Oh, hey, this person's back there. Send them to the ROH show because they'll have something to do. But it still could lead to that. Like, well, we're here. We got Ring of Honor after. Who should we put on? Oh, there's Chuck. There's Trent. Put them on. You know what I mean? Like,
it's always best friends too, man. They're a good tag
every time.
Give them a shot, man.
We never are mad at it because it's the best friends and it always works. But it's like, come on.
Yeah, but that you can't listen. You can't lean into it just because it always works. That's unfair. That's unfair to wrestling fans of you knowing that little secret.
That's true. That's true. Very true. Points are being made.
It's what we do here, Rich. We make points. We make points. And we move along quickly to a nice little tag match that we got here. Yep. I had been asking for a long time for my Iron Savages to be on ROH or television, one or the other. They're with Jacked Jameson, who I was not familiar with before tonight. Really fun stuff here. Yes. I liked this guy. He was out of his mind in a good way. And Tracy Williams and Rhett Titus. Nice to see them back in the mix. We got some old themes, but I like the way the Iron Savages are being built. I always... The Iron Savage's name, I'm like, but they're Bear Country. But like they're Bear Country though. But it feels like they're being built up to be contenders at some point. Like they're on a track, which is something that I was asking for them desperately for. The Pro Wrestling Podcast sending a donation here. This guy is awesome.
Appreciate it.
Not only because CM Punk is like his bestie and comments on all his stuff, but just a really good dude whose birthday it is today. So happy birthday, David.
Happy birthday. Hey, send us a CM Punk scoop in the chat real quick, man.
Yeah, happy birthday to you. Or just, you know what, make something up. That seems to be
that'll also work too. Be like, yo, CM Punk told me to tell you guys this. That, I mean, it works.
Here's what you do. All right. Pro Wrestling Podcast, David. You just drop a scoop that isn't true to get yourself over and us over. Right before Collision. See?
Oh my God! Come on! It's so easy too. You can legit say anything. You can just say anything, and it'll gain traction. Everybody will be like, "Oh my God! Did you hear what the CM Punk said to his friend that said this on this podcast that didn't have anything to do with them?" Yeah, I totally heard it. It's true.
That's it. It's 100% true. Or just say unconfirmed, because then you can just say literally anything.
Yeah,
you'll be like, "Well, it was never confirmed." Yeah,
easy as that.
I mean, that's basically what we got about Danhausen not having nipples, right? But that guy is a really good dude. Just the right attitude about wrestling too. Takes wrestling seriously, but not himself too seriously, or like he's not a fucking nerd about it. So if Reg is like, don't call it cinema, he's not gonna be like, cinema. Like, it's fine. Like,
why are you challenging? Let people have fun. Shut up.
Okay, he's gonna call up CM Punk right now. So this is perfect.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, we'll just wait a few minutes.
If you're just tuning in,
we're in. Yeah.
If you're just tuning in right now, stay on the line because CM Punk is going to be calling into this show through the Pro Wrestling Podcast.
We are out scooping Sports Center or Sports Illustrated, wherever this interview is dropping tomorrow. They are getting out scooped right here on the ROH Post Show. I don't know how we stumbled into this, but we're now here. So everybody stay tuned for this big scoop.
We are now a CM Punk call-in show.
Things have really taken a turn. They really
did. Let's get back on track, okay? we'll keep CM Punk on hold for a little bit. We've got the elevator music playing. He's hanging out. He's holding on, but the Iron Savages were not holding on here. All right. We got a nice electric chair splash. I think it's called the Boulder Drop for the Iron Savages win. Man, there was a really nice boss man slam into a sidewalk slam at the same time situation that was going on in this that I thought was a whole bunch of fun. So it was a great match. I'm excited to see Rhett, Titus, and Tracy together. I miss Jonathan Gresham.
Every time it never fails.
I know, it hurts.
As soon as they come out for their entrance, I'm like, man,
something's missing here. Though we'll see what happens at the end of his contract. You know, I think those Impact 6-month contracts can be really helpful at times, and I think hopefully they're on better terms. So we'll see. But what did you think of the match we got tonight, and how are you feeling about the Iron Savages? Are you bought into them like I am?
Yes, and I feel the opposite of you. I'm glad Bear Country is out. I like them as Iron Savages. I think it gives them they've came back like some savages, and but even before that, they've always been one of those like just really gritty, dope tag teams. And I think the tag team division is headed in the right direction. If anybody saw those digital videos they posted while Ring of Honor was on the air, Stokely Hathaway was out there wheeling and dealing with the Kingdom and the Infantry, and the Kingdom saying they should be the Ring of Honor tag team champions, which I kind of agree with them. They were making some points saying that where are the tag team champions at anyway, big dog? Questions we're always asking. All of us are wondering about this. So seeing tag teams like the Iron Savages, Rhett and Hot Sauce, seeing the Kingdom and the Infantry and everything that's going to be established in this Ring of Honor tag team division when we actually get the tag team titles on the show is going to be very exciting. I just don't know when that ever is going to be. Penta or Phoenix weren't anywhere to be found today on this Ring of Honor show. So where they at?
I wonder if Ray Phoenix is just still in the air somewhere. Like he just,
that could be a thing.
So off the top rope, but it's like, okay, we'll see you 4 weeks from now. But
not together. Oh yeah, they actually did team together for a match last night, but not for the tag team championships.
That is correct. We got a lovely chat from Shame Monster, who's always so supportive to us, saying, "Hey Kate, hey Clam Digger Wrench, started therapy this week. Good for you, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hope everyone is a good headspace and happy. It's ROH day, baby. I'm in a great headspace." My screen just went blank. There we go. Stokely, aka regular sized Shaq. Digital promos with the Infantry and Kingdom should have been on ROH. First of all, congratulations for starting therapy. I think in addition to Pride Month, it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Ooh. And if you look at the stats of like people who have lost their lives to mental health, it's very clear that like men have an uphill challenge and that the stigma is very real. So good for you for taking care of yourself. Make yourself a priority. You don't always have to wait till it gets to a breaking point either. Sometimes you just got to maintain. Sometimes you just need a damn hour to talk about yourself in this world. All right. You just need some fucking breathing.
Even if you think you got your back all the time, sometimes you don't. Like you just need an hour to be like, and I did this, and then I did this too, and then I did another thing. Because sometimes you spend a lot of your time hearing other people's problems. So honestly, shout out to you, Shame. They tell a lot of people, a lot of men are told like not to express their feelings, hold all these things inside, not do these things. So for you to take that step is huge. And if any other guys are thinking about it, like seriously, really think about it. I've been hearing a lot about that. People in super chats this month saying they either started therapy or continue in therapy. And it's just great to hear, man. We need it. It's crazy out here.
It is.
You cannot keep all these thoughts inside your brain. You got to get them out.
You got to get them out. Existing is exhausting. And if you're on wrestling Twitter, God bless you. It's even worse. But to the second half of your chat.
Yeah, my therapist would just be like, dude, shut that app off. It's easy.
Okay, what you're going to want to do is you're going to see the deactivate button.
Yes.
All right. Click it.
Silly.
The wrestling aspect of this is interesting because I do feel as though the Infantry and Kingdom segment should probably have been on this broadcast, especially because they're not beholden to any TV time, right?
True.
So you could just edit this back in. However, the ROH social brand could use some juice. So I don't hate the idea of doing these not on the show. I think you could potentially do both, but I think it's good to try and stir some love up. I don't think showing Maria Kanellis has ever made anyone be like, I don't want to tune into that at all. So
yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Maybe just do it drop at the same time or something, because like there needs to be. You're exactly right. Like the ROH social media needs more. They need people to get people watching, but like also they're correct. Like this would have been just fine on the It's like 2 minutes each. Like this 4 minutes would have helped this TV show and the tag team division and everybody involved.
Yeah, and I think the Kingdoms, especially because you and I have said it week over week, it kind of feels like they're the tag team champions. They're the ones that are here putting on matches every week. They feel important in the presentation. They sound important in their promos. They feel like a really important piece of this. So I feel like pointing out that the tag team champs aren't here and kind of leaning into that would be good. And the manipulation that they were trying to play with Stokely, who could be very manipulative, like that's a fun little game. So I dig that. But we'll move right along here. Thank you guys so much for the chats. We appreciate you.
Cool.
I'm gonna save Ronald. I'm gonna save your chat till a little bit later because I wanna call out Eddie Kingston partner in the G1 and how he came back to AEW yesterday. But for now, we're gonna move along to Diamante versus Teal Piper. The Piper bloodline continuing here, which is pretty cool.
Super cool.
I think I've seen her more on NWA for sure. I can't remember if she was on Dark as well or not, but this was kind of the Diamante show. I'm not mad about it either. I feel like it's really, really awesome to see her consistently on a track. Feels like our women's division is really taking shape here. We get her winning with a submission by referee stoppage. Commentary doing a really good job of putting over what a badass she was really fun. I loved Caprice being like, I heard those gunshots and I was hiding under the table. Like so much fun. I think eventually they're both working heel, but because ROH is a little bit better at mixing stuff up, I think you could very easily work yourself into a Diamante Athena program at some point. Probably not as a title switch, but something. There's something there because those ladies hit hard. But Teal Piper looking just perfectly fine here, perfectly serviceable. But this was Diamante's for the taking. What did you think?
I thought it was cool, super cool seeing the daughter of Rowdy Piper here in the flesh. There's always kind of this thing. AEW likes this. If you're introduced to a character, they like to kind of have them take a loss or something like that. So like, I don't think it's anything against her. She looked great in there against Diamante. But yeah, this is the Diamante show. As when we were thinking about who's going to be the people to be next in line for Athena, Diamante was very high on the list because we know what she's capable of. And it's interesting choice that, right now Athena's in a feud with Kira's because, the connection to Diamante. Could she be the next one after this? What's going on here? What a great story that's being told. So I'm excited for Diamante. There's been a couple of wins for her in a row these last couple of weeks of Ring of Honor TV. Great to see an emphasis on her and some other women that we're going to talk about here very soon on this program.
So excited to talk about where your head's at because my head is there too. But I agree with this with Diamante. And the other thing is, I think they were probably thinking they were going to have Willow around for this. And not only was she in AEW world, but she won the New Japan Strong title kind of not on a fluke, but on an injury. That wasn't the plan. So my guess is Willow's probably getting pulled in other directions. Even though Diamante seems to be working heel right now, I think a fan favorite, someone else that's kind of a staple, a seasoned veteran that is going to be there reliably like they might have been thinking Willow would be, is a really, really good move. I'm just going to pull this up because it makes me happy when people take care of themselves. So Voodoo Child, awesome that you went back and it's really helping you out. I feel like anytime I leave therapy, I'm like, that was dumb. Why did I do that? Just stay in therapy, Kate. So there you go.
Look, these guys are giving encouraging things to you. Like, it's good to be back. Feels good to be home. Great. Thanks for you guys for expressing that. You know what I mean? Like, not only going back, but even just telling people you're in there feels like a thing, I'm sure,
Big time. It's therapy is a weird one because it's so vulnerable that when other people give themselves permission to go, I feel like it gives you permission to go in some way.
Yes.
So very cool. And I can't even imagine for the fellas, because that is supposed to that stigma is that you're supposed to keep it in is not great. Not great. Thanks. But we move along from taking care of our mental health to taking care of our physical self with this Tony Nese promo. Reg.
Wow. Yeah.
We get him and Josh Woods. There's a lot happening. It was chaotic. I hated it in the beginning, and then I loved it. I don't know what happened.
I guess starting, you're like, oh, I hate this so much. What's going on here?
Like, what is going on? It's kind of that thing of like, you hear a joke once, and you're like, oh, haha. And then you hear it like a few times and you're like, all right, enough. And then when you hear it 100 times, you're like, okay, this is hysterical.
You got me.
That's where I was at with this Tony Nese promo. They're talking about how they're in peak physical condition, and the reason they never get any respect is because they're not relatable, because they're never going to be like the fat slobs of Florida. This is when it started to turn, was when they were like, we're going to help you be more like us. And they tried to bring them through an exercise program. Tony Nese doing just fine with this, but Josh Woods with his little conditioning bands and his goofy ass smile was killing me. I loved it. And they get interrupted by not the Spanish announce table. I'm sorry, I think of it every time.
Yeah, I know.
But we get Serpentico with the Spanish announce program. Tony Nese defeating Serpentico with a nasty running knee in the corner. So we get a fitness seminar and a quick little match here. Any thoughts on this? This felt like it was not necessarily like, oh, the most important programming on the show, but also felt harmless and kind of fun for me.
Yeah, I like to see Tony Nese get more. I've always been a big fan of Tony Nese, and for him to show a little bit of personality in this promo. Also great to see Josh Woods. I think they're both super talented guys. So yeah, I could never be mad at them getting a shot, getting some time, and getting a win, because usually every time we see those guys, they're looking up at the lights.
It is true, and they're a really good tag team, especially like, man, I was booking my Zack Sabre Jr. tour. I'm gonna make it a Grateful Dead tour. Okay, I don't want it to end. I'm gonna follow it everywhere.
No, just keep going.
Give me Zack Sabre Jr. and Josh Woods.
Yeah, book it.
Give me it under Pure Rules.
That could be in Ring of Honor like next week, Kate. Like that's an easy one.
I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. I am intrigued though to see, because I've heard rumors, not from Will, so don't play that game. But I've heard other rumors of people that might be getting called up for Collision. Mostly people that have had to jump from indie dates that I know of because they're working Saturdays now. I wonder if this, because there's such a great tag team to work anybody, and you can just up the level investment on them at any point. I feel like they're a very easy team to heat up because they are so good in the ring, and the gimmick and the character are so like organic to wrestling. Like they're such wrestling characters that I could see them just moving on to Collision. I think Josh Woods might have even tweeted something to that effect, but yeah, I would like to see them do something other than be thrown out first in a battle royal, because that's Tony Nese's entire job.
Yeah, no, they deserve more than that. They're not just like little job guys. They're like really talented guys. And I'd like to see them up there too. They could build a pretty dope tag division up there at Collision if they give it a chance. And I think they might be going to. So that's some pretty exciting news.
It is. I'm excited to see what Collision brings, not only to clarity for the ROH roster, but some of these talents that we've been seeing in ROH, like if they're already graduating up, especially the ones that haven't necessarily needed development, right? The people that have been there to anchor the program moving on and up, I think could be great. So guys, get in those super chats and those humper chats. We're going to take a moment to remind you to subscribe to Fightful Select as well. We are up to 6 days of reviews, ladies and gents, and everybody else in between. We've got a Collision post show that is going to be so great. We've got the incredible Iridian, the amazing Cresta, who's on this show. The amazing Cresta sounds like a magician.
The amazing Cresta.
The amazing Cresta.
Yes.
Mad Lib Goddess Cresta Star. She's going to be joining that. I'm so glad more people are going to get to learn about her, because she's just so incredible. Yeah. And Rick Chino too. A really, really well balanced show. I think it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun.
People are going to like these new people to fight for sure. Like if you haven't discovered these people after you watch this AEW Collision post show, you're going to grow to love them.
100%. And Sean will be popping in there from time to time as well with any information that he has. He's also going to be popping up on the SmackDown review, and the SmackDown Rampage review is transitioning to just a SmackDown review, and Rampage is going to be covered for a couple minutes, 10 minutes probably or so at the beginning of that Collision post show. So
Rampage is dead. Sorry, Rampage. Nice knowing you.
It's a C show, and it does feel like waiting an extra hour to start the SmackDown review for a show that doesn't have an emphasis on it just only makes me more tired. So we're gonna scoot it along to Collision, but it'll be a nice little kind of AEW rest of the programming packaging for you over there on Saturdays. But tune in for that. If you could subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, we're putting out more content there for subscribers. Leaving a thumbs up on this video also very helpful. Ding. Helps people find us in the algorithm, which the views went up by like a lot last time. So you guys did some work for us, and we appreciate that a ton. Fightful Select, you know they're going to have breaking news coming out of a brand new show, and with Forbidden Door around the
There's
corner.
There's going to be so much. On Saturday night, you're going to be like, what was going on back there? Because that's how much news they'll have.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and subscribe, but we are continuing on with our show. We get Miranda Alize and the Notorious Mimi, who it was great to see. Miranda Alize taking the win here with the drive-by. Notorious Mimi, a part of the Monster Factory documentary for Apple TV subscribers. If you're familiar, if you're not familiar, one of the better, I think, like shows that have been done about wrestling, very well produced. Follows her journey. She got signed by WWE and was unfortunately released. But picking it right back up with the indies. Love seeing her in ROH. I think in-ring is her strength. I thought she looked good here. But I'm loving Miranda Alize, man. Like, the Lucha baddie has all of the baddie in her. Like, she is so charismatic. And, God, the energy she brings to every second that she's in the ring is so much fun. Glad she's being staked down here as what feels like another pillar of the women's division here in Ring of Honor. Shape it up really, really nicely. And I just, I love, it feels like she's just one of those people that the second she peeks out from behind the curtain, it's just like, it's on from bell to bell and curtain to curtain. I absolutely love it. Any thoughts on the match we got here tonight?
Yeah, this was fun. This was the other match I was talking about when I was talking about Nick Comoroto, of like people that we've seen that are getting this opportunity and you know, getting to shine. It's really dope because the ROH women division is so strong and it feels like it's getting stronger. Like Athena's run is so strong and she's had so many great matches, but like everybody coming after her has started to look so great that I'm so excited to see like what's about to happen in this women's division. Who's going to be the one to dethrone Athena? Because there's a couple of women out here that have a strong case to be the ones. And Miranda Alize coming in. She's had a couple of runs in Ring of Honor. We've seen her on the show before. She's establishing herself. Really great personality. I like her her in-ring style and just her, you know, her charisma. I think she's going to be really very high up there in terms of women's Ring of Honor wrestlers very soon. So she's dope.
Yeah, her presentation is really, really cool. She just she's very sure of who she is as a wrestler, and I love that. I love seeing that.
It's an intangible, as they say.
It is an intangible. You're an artist. You know how that is. Like, it takes a lot to find it takes a lot to figure out who the hell you are in this world, never mind as an artist. God.
I was over 30 when I figured it out. So, I mean, it takes, like, some people are like, I'm 25. I can't figure I'm 28. I'm like, you still got so much time, dude.
It's so funny how I think about how, like, in a rush I was at 24. Now that I'm in my mid-30s, I'm like, adorable.
There's
adorable
no rushing.
That I thought I had anything.
We always wonder why old people drive so slow. There's a reason, big dog.
There it is.
You can take your time. Take your time.
We're just in the moment. We're going 60 into 55, and that's fine. Sometimes.
That's it. Why are you honking at me? Just go around, dude. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, dude. I'm cruising.
I'm just in the moment. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who didn't have things figured out tonight. Oh boy, we got Dalton Castle and the boys, and Stu Grayson and the Righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow! There was a spot in here that is a little scary. I hope Dalton Castle's okay, but Stu Grayson rammed Dalton Castle into the ring post, and holy crap. He hit hard. There were rumors he got injured at the taping. I don't know if they've been confirmed, but if he did, very possible it was on that spot.
We saw it.
Yeah. Yep. Stu Grayson and the Righteous and hitting a triple team finisher here. Really a good match, and I'm really liking the story.
He's still with them, Kate. I thought this was a phase. This isn't a phase.
He is still with them. However, he doesn't have their gear yet. If you didn't notice, like I think there's still hesitations. Like last week, we got the finish where it felt like Vincent might have overstepped his bounds a little bit, and Stu Grayson's in opposite colored gear as Creepy Dutch and his tongue. And Vincent, we got a huge crucifix set up into the pendulum bomb on this.
That was crazy.
Big spot. But I also love the offsetting here too of like these serious creepy dudes with Stu and the Righteous and Dalton and the boys who are so much fun. Like when right in the beginning when Dalton comes out and the cameraman's there, he's like, "It's the first time with the cameraman. You're doing a good job." I was howling.
Dalton Castle, still that guy, man. Still that guy.
He really is. Like he's so entertaining. But this was a better match than I was expecting. Not that I had low expectations for it. I love both of these teams, but this is kind of the paramount story in ROH right now, especially in the 6-man picture. And I really, really like where this is going. We get a dark interview. It was kind of a dark interview.
It was a little, I'd count it.
Yeah, a Dark Order interview after. But before we get to that, what did you think of this match?
That big crucifix mom was crazy. They turned one of the boys into a big T, a big cross, and just slammed him so high. That's such a huge bump. I'm just scared thinking about it. But yeah, like you're saying, this is probably the best story they're telling in Ring of Honor currently. They've been telling it for a while. They got me because I was just from the beginning. I've been like, Stu, what are you doing, dude? Like Super Smash Bros. I used to watch on PWG. Like this is wrong. Why would you abandon your best friend like that? Your best friend's coming on. He's practically crying on the mic saying you weren't down. They're not going to be down with you when you're down. Like what's going on here? Yeah. But also then Stu's just like such a great wrestler that when he's wrestles, you're like, I don't care whose friend he is, as long as he's in the ring fighting somebody. This is awesome. Like you guys just relax. Let's have Stu fight some more.
He is just a phenomenal in-ring talent. I think this is so much fun. And the Dark Order interview that we get after this leading to some interesting possibilities here. They say that this hasn't been violent enough, basically, and they want to get nuts with the Righteous. I love this. I'm wondering if we're getting a fight without honor coming here, Reg.
I could see it. Yeah, Johnny Hungy was pretty upset. Like that's the maddest I've seen him in a while, actually.
He should be, because why has everyone got to leave the Dark Order? They're so nice and fun.
They did look pretty lonely in that interview. I'm just like, just the three of you guys, just like, man, y'all used to have a big clan. Like it's over with.
And it feels like that's where they're at too. And I really, really like. And I'm wondering if this fight without honor is where we get Stu either flipping back or going out on his own. Because it feels like a blow off like that when it's like for your friend, the baby faces should come out of that with something.
Right.
So I'm intrigued to see where it goes, but I'm also having a hard time with this in a good way, because kind of like Stu Grayson with the Righteous. Like I'm bought in. It fits. It works.
Think about this, Kate. They do the fight without honor, and if the Dark Order loses, they have to join the Righteous.
I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at. I'm in. I'm in on that. We'll see what is coming.
Then they go heel, and we're like, oh, because remember when they were healing AEW, it was like, these guys are kind of creepy. If they get back to that creepy thing,
that could be really, really fun, especially because you're right. Like in the beginning, I was not into them, and when they started doing those vignettes, I mean, my Wednesday podcast is called The Mark Order, not on Fightful, but like that's when we got into it. Was like those moments. So, I like that. I like that idea, but there's nothing I like more than Athena. Except when Athena is with Trish Adora, because holy
wow,
hell,
you just read my brain. Look at that.
Talk about it. I feel like, I mean, Trish Adora's been at New Japan Academy for 10 minutes, and I feel like it's already made a difference. Like,
it has, seriously. I didn't expect it to like come to fruition so quickly. It's like, when was that New Japan show? Because like it's been like, even just saying it, it's like, damn, that's good. But then you see her and you're like, wow, like this. If I was going for wrestling training, I'd be like, I need to look into this, because everybody that gets down in this dojo is crazy.
My God, even from the second she walked out, I was like, oh, she's carrying herself. Like, and not that she had a lack of confidence before. What I loved about her was her presentation, but there's just like another level. I loved commentary talking about the Shibata influence tonight, because you could kind of see it.
Yep.
And this was a very different match for Athena too. And
Oh, yeah.
I loved how smart Trish Adora looks, especially early on here. This is great. Like, she let Athena waste all the time in the world, because she's just got to last 10 minutes.
Yep.
She wasn't being a coward about it. She was just letting Athena be stupid. I liked it. I kind of bit. I'm not going to lie. I was like, she's going to go the distance, I think. Like the proving ground distance. Yeah, I kind of wish she had. I understand why she didn't, especially if she's still training. But for me, I'm kind of like, it's got to be Trish Adora to dethrone her right now. Like, in my head after tonight, I'm on that path where I'm like, it's got to be her. I thought this match was so well agented and produced and executed by both of the ladies, but ultimately, awesome. Athena winning with the O face. She moves to 26-0 already. I mean, that is a fighting champion. 26-0. We've had, I think, 17 episodes of Ring of Honor under the new. So that's just incredible to me. But what did you think of this match? I was in love with it, and I feel like you can see the difference in Trish Adora already, man.
Yeah, so many great things about this. Just like you're saying, Trish Adora is like transforming before our eyes. She already was tremendous. Like, she was #1 on the Black Wrestling's 500 before all of this. She is just always been tremendous, but just these since she's been in this New Japan dojo, it's already a vast improvement of what already was a great pro wrestler. Carry herself even better than she is. In there with Athena, looking like she belongs, taking Athena to the distance, almost something like it. In Athena's world, it was to the distance. But yeah, that finish, the O face was just nasty. Anytime she brings it out, I like that Athena's been doing that though. She hasn't hit it every week. She finishes her matches with different moves almost every match. It's a great way to you don't see a lot of wrestlers like that. It's a great way to change up the it finishes on your matches. But yeah, these two women are amazing. So many contenders in the women's Ring of Honor title chase are Black women, and it's just like, cool. Thank you. I don't know how we got here, but like, yeah, keep bringing them on, dude. Like, this is amazing. Like, wait, all the great contenders are Black women. This is amazing. Kira's here, Trish is here, Willow's around, the champions. It's like, you guys, like, thank you. But yeah, Trish is looking great. Athena's on a crazy run. They're setting up some things with Kira. When she hit her with that top of that trash can, and the way that Athena went down like a Family Guy character. Yeah. It's great.
She really did. And we do get a nice post-match beatdown here. I love Kira looking strong and looking really smart. She's being very opportunistic. Earlier in the night, we got Athena doing her best Kira Hogan impression, which actually came from last week, but she has a good little Kira Hogan impression. This was a whole mess of fun. And, you know, as a white gal, I try not to speak on that too much, but it feels like it's happened really organically. Like, it doesn't feel like we went out of our way to get all this Black talent on television. It was like, we're just getting the best of the best. And a lot of them happen to be these kick-ass Black women, and that rules to me. It's amazing. Really, really, really good stuff. This Athena run is an absolute blast. An absolute blast. MVP. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around with us. We got the Impact post show coming up here shortly, but we got a couple more matches to talk about, including what was my match of the night. But stay tuned for that Impact post show. You've got Cresta Star, who is going to be making her Collision post show debut this weekend.
Collision.
I heard that Nick Aldis turned heel, and we've got some new champions over in Impact World, so a lot to stick around and listen to. But we got the Workhorsemen calling out FTR, and we got Mark Briscoe and Anthony Henry, and holy hell. Mark Briscoe winning with the J Driller, but Anthony Henry looked real damn good in this match. This boy can go. I really need him versus Gabriel Kidd. I don't know how we get there, but like the way I've been watching New Japan, that's just a dream match that popped up into my brain tonight. This was my match of the night. This was just some hard-hitting, fun shit. As you alluded to earlier, we get Mark Briscoe talking to shit after, being like, I'm coming for it. I'm making my own destiny. I don't care about Jeff Jarrett that much, all right? What I care about is that TV title, because nobody cares about Jeff Jarrett that much. I refuse to believe that that's the case.
Commentary tried hard. They were like, tomorrow, watch Jeff Jarrett. Don't forget about Jeff Jarrett. Mark Briscoe has a match with Jeff Jarrett tomorrow. And we're like, all right, dude, we get it.
And I was like, oh no, I don't review Rampage anymore. Oh darn. Oh, I'm so sad about that. But I adored this match. Such good stuff. Any thoughts here?
I understand why this was your match of the night, though, because these two guys were fighting. Anthony Henry, I think, in all of his singles matches that he's had in Ring of Honor so far, he's had a lot of great showings. He showed exactly what that is. I love the Workhorsemen pairing as a team. And Mark Briscoe, I think they made a point to say that he's won all of his matches with the J Driller ever since, the things happened with Jay, and he's put an emphasis on wanting to win the Ring of Honor television championship. He's lit a different fire under him. He's wrestling. His saying is still Mark Briscoe, but there's a little extra intensity on it. And tonight was extra that there was a lot of very hard hitting, interesting spots in this match. Anthony Henry hitting a reverse suplex and on Mark, and Mark just using his will, his power and everything he has as a Briscoe brother to get this victory, and then to talk that shit to Samoa Joe, say, I'm coming for you, bro. I loved it.
Well, you can't be the only one to use a will around here. You know what I mean? So I gotta. But to your point about the stylistic changes, when you were out, actually, Kyle K. Sparks, who filled in for you, mentioned the same thing, that he felt like Mark is incorporating some of Jay's best traits into his work as a solos competitor, and what a beautiful tribute that is. So we got a super chat from Meet Norma saying Willow Nyla as a Natural Disasters New Day face tag team where they're funny and charming, but also beat that ass would butter my muffin. Toodles. I don't hate it. I if they had an actual division, I'd be in on it, because I think Willow is a star in the making in front of our eyes right now. But I've been calling for a Nyla face turn for a while, just because her personality is so incredible. Your thoughts on that little duo or a Nyla face turn at all?
I kind of feel the same way that you did. If they had a tag team division, but just putting them on a tag team to not have wrestle anywhere, no, I'm not interested in it. Let Willow be the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, defend that. But a Nyla face turn would be she's been face to me for a long time. I don't really get it anyways. Like, Nyla's just funny to me, so I can't boo Nyla. Would that be weird?
No, she's hysterical. And I would like to see her move on from the I'm the new champion's first contender to lose role. The Lance Archer female equivalent role.
I don't know why they got Nyla in this role, but yes.
I know. But we got some more love to circle back on the TK and Stokely Athena versus Hogan street fight announcement, which I completely forgot to mention. We're getting a Chicago street fight, which is going to be so much fun there. Norma saying you would think that it would be Comoroto or the Iron Savages, but Athena and Trish was the sirloin beef match of the night.
Seriously, they were throwing some meat in there.
Hell yeah. Give Athena something for Forbidden Door. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. You could run Athena and Willow back for that New Japan Strong title. Could be a whole bunch of fun. Matthew Hook saying the same thing. The Chicago street fight's going to be fire. I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be dope.
Couple more matches to work our way through, including this really great pure match that we get with Daniel Garcia and New Japan talent, the DKC. Good stuff. I loved the way Garcia was just advancing the Shibata program without Shibata being there. Like him beating a student and mocking the champion throughout this. This was a whole bunch of fun, but we get Daniel winning with the Dragon Slayer, and we got a really nice float over into a code breaker to set that up. A beautiful match. Love pure matches. We also get Daddy Magic on commentary, which popped me tremendously when he sat down and said, "When you think of pure matches, you think of Daddy Magic." It was killing me. It was killing me. He's going to use no rope breaks. Like, just phenomenal stuff here. But really, really enjoyed this match as well. I said last time, I think, like, hey, someone other than Daniel Garcia or Wheeler Yuta to hold the title would be cool. But
that'd be cool.
I don't. It's not. I'm not sick of seeing Daniel Garcia wrestling under pure rules. That's for damn sure. Yeah. Your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I kind of hate that they are the only two contenders. I'd like to see some other people come up and challenge, fill that division up. And I feel like they have a lot of talented people to do that. But I mean, if we're going to get this, Daniel Garcia is the perfect person to do it. Him coming out doing a smug little dance, being a little jerk is just like every time it's like that damn Daniel Garcia. Very funny guy. This is a fun match. I'd love to see him versus Shibata again. I don't know if they should run it at the pay-per-view, because I feel like they ran that at a pay-per-view before, maybe even the last step before Dishonor. I can't even really remember, honestly, but Daniel Garcia, he's cool. I think that it's good to see him on Ring of Honor. What did you think about them having this one match that was shot in whatever arena? It looks like they were in Denver, as opposed to all the rest of the matches were in the studio. Was that kind of weird?
It was so weird. It just
like, why'd they do that?
It's just like, if I did 90% of this podcast with this setting, and then for another one I had normal internet and like a black wall, it would just be weird. Like,
it would be weird. You'd be like, well, why during like 10 seconds of Kate's thing did it just switch to a completely different thing? I don't get. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's a tape TV show, but it was just weird.
Yeah, that was definitely an odd one. I'm intrigued to see if they do this at Forbidden Door, because you very well could with Shibata there.
Yeah.
But I will also always pop for "You're a Wrestler" chants. Like, that just that absolutely kills me.
It drives them crazy.
I think we're maybe getting away from the Jericho Appreciation Society, which I've been asking for a long time. So let Danny Garcia be a wrestler. Let him be a pure wrestler. I'm okay with it. But we move on quickly to Sky Blue and Viva Vaughn, who I was only kind of cursorily familiar with. Like, I hadn't seen a lot of her, but she has a nice reputation on the indies. She looked good here. No surprise, Sky Blue getting the win with the Skyfall, but she continues to improve week over week, man. Like, she's not my favorite from a character standpoint, but always love seeing the in-ring development. Any thoughts on this?
Good for Sky Blue. I thought all the women's matches tonight were great showcases, establishing some future stars in the women's division. Sky Blue has been, in a lot of great, but just had a really good match against Toni Storm. She's like one of the most busiest AEW women's wrestlers there is. Like, she's always on TV. She's on every show all the time. It's like, I see what y'all are doing with Sky Blue, but you guys do also have some other women there. Not just Nyla, the title challenge ruiner. There's other people there. But great to see 4 women's matches on this show. Super fun. I liked it.
Really cool. I felt like I was so excited when we had 2, and then 3 became the standard, and now we got 4. Like,
4.
Just cool. Just cool
pretty
to have happen. But yeah. Look, Sky Blue gets her spots because she might light people on fire otherwise, which we don't
That's
need. We found that out. But move along to the main event, which was a really strong main event. Your match of the night, which I thought was a very fair assessment. Very fair assessment. The Embassy, Brian Cage, Kaun, and Toa Leona versus AR Fox, Action Andretti, and Darius Martin. Prince Nana, of course, at ringside for this as well. A really, really fun match. This is the most Brian Cage has looked like ever, like comfort-wise and his gimmick-wise. I'm happy for the guy, because I think there's something special there, and they're finally tapping into it. Good stuff. What did you think of our main here?
I really liked the showcase that Action Andretti, Darius, and AR Fox put on. I thought they got to get that spot foo all the way in. And luckily, if you have Brian Cage on the other side, you're going to get somebody else who likes spot foo. Kaun and Toa looked like action figures, like they always do. They look scary. All their moves. Toa's Samoan drop is crazy. Kaun just looks like a fucking Greek god or something amazing, just on the apron looking badass. I'm just like, I can't look at this guy. He's like too much. It makes my eyes hurt because I won't ever look like that. So why did this guy get to look like that? This is some bullshit. But yeah, I think
feel that way about a lot of ladies in wrestling.
yeah,
I hear you.
It happens. Best part about this was that the trios ROH 6-man championships were defended on this show. Let's keep it up. Let's do it again next week. Let's do it again the week after. Let's establish some more 6-man teams. Let's keep this going. Very fun match. Great way to end the show. Very good Ring of Honor show.
It was. Caden C saying, did y'all hear a raspy voice cheering for the embassy? We did not hear any one particular raspy voice, but I'm glad you got to make it to these tapings. That rules. And we are going to go ahead and bring on our Impact crew. But as we do that, we did have a final super chat from Ronald Hollick saying, hey, Kate and Reg, who do you see challenging Claudio at Death Before Dishonor? I suspect Eddie after Dynamite. However, his G1 dates might conflict. That's kind of where I was at too. I don't know what the G1 schedule will do with Eddie. I know he's facing Shingo in the opener and that Block C grouping, but there's a couple ways you could go. I would love to see an internal feud with Takeshita. I think that would be a really, really fun way to go because their Battle of the Belts one was so much fun. But any thoughts on this?
It doesn't feel like they've built up any contenders on the show, which is kind of crazy. Like, how many singles men's wrestlers are even like, oh, that guy could be the next guy besides Eddie Kingston? I legit can't even in my brain think of one. That was the first thing I thought when he came and attacked Claudio last night. Like, oh, it's going to be Eddie Kingston. But yeah, he's going to be gone for the G1. So I honestly have no idea. I'm very shocked and surprised. I'm hoping to see where they go with this.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be like an open challenge of some sort or what we're going to get from it. But I think, man, if Stu makes his way there, if like a fight without honor means he's not with anybody, Stu versus Claudio is a dream match for me. But we'll see if we get any new champions. I know one Thursday night wrestling program that has a couple new champions to talk about. Holy heck. Cresta, you look so beautiful tonight. How are you, darling?
Had to switch it up on the hose.
Wow, look at Cresta. Yo.
I'm gonna go see.
I came on this show and she's had a mustache before, so this is a big change from.
Listen,
you look great,
you can be glamorous and giggles too.
It's true. It's
and congrats on you and your show debuting this Saturday. We talked about it. Collision post show. That shit's gonna be dope. Y'all are gonna want to tune into that. Subscribe, set your alarms. Daylight savings time is something to do with it. I don't know. Make sure you catch the show. All right.
I am so excited to talk about CM Punk, and I know people are so sick of hearing him, but at this point, I'm ready for the ride. Marvel versus Capcom, take me for a ride. I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. Whether he shows up or not, I know it's going to be some fantastic heel work, and I cannot wait. And he's with FTR.
So, you guys, the most shocking thing of the week by far, the new Impact World Champion is Alex Shelley. When I was at a show and I saw the graphic while I was at the show and was like, what? I didn't have any idea. Were you guys as shocked? Did you guys have any idea that this was going to happen?
So
no.
Let me pull the curtain back on our post show. At like 10 o'clock Eastern, I text Cresta and I'm just like, I'm tired. Let's get in and out on this stupid show. It's been fun. Like, show is fine. Sabin won. Cool. Shit's gone down. It's fine. And then Alex Shelley wins. And we're just like, all right, I'm wired. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Literally me during the main event. It's like, all right. Okay. Your new event. No, just a second. I felt like Judge Judy. Like, wait a minute. Let me write this down. Hold on. Wait a second.
I'm still shocked. That's crazy.
Even more so is like we went into that post show being like, nah, they're gonna pull a fast one. Macklin's gonna win it back somehow, yada yada. And then tonight, Nick Aldis kind of effectively turned heel, and you've got Macklin versus Shelley happening in Wagga Wagga in Australia at the end of July. No, end of June. So that could still impact, no pun intended, the So who knows? Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff in the waters for them, but I have no idea where some of this is going to go leading into Slammiversary.
I was really shocked because after all the buildup that they did, I think we spoke about this on the Against All Odds show, with all the buildup that they did for Macklin, and especially with Josh Alexander's reign, I assumed that this was going to be a longer reign than what it was. And when Shelley got the pin, it's not that I'm mad that Shelley got the pin. I mean, on the lowest of keys, you know, Joe Pearl got the sauce. That's what you get for threatening Joe Pearl. I don't know what to tell you. He got the sauce.
What?
Joe Pearl got the sauce. But on I like to get worked by the Shoot brother. I'm like, wow, y'all really took it off of Macklin that fast. I could not believe it. I'm happy for Shelley, but I could not believe it. It was good though. The match was great. The match was great. I assumed, and that's what I get for assuming.
Look, I'm a firm believer, and you don't have to have these long 2-year reigns and all this. There could just be a champion that comes in for a month, gets his shit off, and then he's out of there.
And that was the thing. Like we never thought that Macklin was going to be like another 2-year reign or through the Josh Alexander reign, but we thought it had a little bit more in it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe people like Scott D'Amore and whoever's doing creative kind of saw that Nick Aldis coming in and potentially winning the Impact title wasn't going to make fans happy. So they said, well, maybe if we are going to give Aldis a title, let's make it a big heel turn and make people hate that they have to watch this in a good way.
Right.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of sincere love for Steve Macklin and what happened there, and the story that they were building out with Alexander that they never got to fully tell. But we do have a chat just says Cresta from the birthday boy at the Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Wait. Where's my microphone? Hold on, Mr. President. I can't find it. Happy birthday. I'm not doing that.
With no facial hair and sultry happy birthday renditions. But we're going to get out of here. We're going to let you talk some Impact. We appreciate you guys being patient as the past couple weeks have gone a little bit longer, but they are full episodes of ROH. Yeah, blame Tony Khan and Will Ospreay for all of the work he's been doing.
Bill Birmingham.
Not Bill Birmingham. Shut up.
That damn Bill Birmingham will never get it right.
No.
Let me get out of here before I get in trouble. You guys have a wonderful post show.
Have a great post show, guys.
Bye.
Thank you all. Hey, real quick. So I've said this elsewhere. We've had Cresta on the spotlight. We've had Rick Ucchino on Fightful Select doing an interview there. For those who want to meet Iridian, who is the third member of the Collision Post show, tomorrow on Fightful Overbooked on In the Weeds, that's going to be myself and Jeremy Lambert, and we're going to have Iridian on at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. So come and join us there, and we'll have a good time. So then you'll meet everybody from the Collision Post show.
Everybody. Iridian's really cool. I had the pleasure of speaking with her last week. Her and Rick, fantastic wrestling nerds. Do you like wrestling? Do you like to yuck? You'll find your people here.
True. There's plenty of it. And by the way, shout out to Pro Wrestling Podcast. I know that it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I know the Crest is saying it, so that's the best part. But I love that you sent in that super chat right after Cresta had evoked the name CM Punk. Because if there's two names that are synonymous with CM Punk, it's Pro Wrestling Podcast and anyone who mentions CM Punk.
Look in my eyes. What do you see? Christian Mingle Punk. That's what the CM stands for.
That's not our show. All right. How are you doing before we really kick this off?
I'm doing swell. I have to go see my mom. Very unfortunate. No, let me not say that like that. But it's just late. And, I can't show it to my mom's house at Purple Hair at 11 o'clock at night. She's like, what you doing? And I'm likely to make a joke, and I don't want to do that. It's too late at night.
Oh, you're working.
The streets? That's what she would say with purple hair. My mother's a Christian woman. Bless her soul.
There you go. Loves to yuck, and I love CM Punk. There you go.
That's the best.
Buddy, do I have the show? Do I have the show for you on Saturday?
Full of clowns. 3 clowns get on Fightful and talk about wrestling. Oh, Sean Ross Sapp will be there sometimes. He'll be there on Saturday to regulate the clowns, and then the inmates run the asylum.
Yeah, he's going to be there to make sure that y'all respect the sanctity of this guy. There's no sanctity on this website. Who am I kidding? As long as the info is right and as long as you're not being a dick, you're good.
Listen, the only thing that I will fabricate again is that CM Punk stands for Christian Mingle. Harmless lies. Hey, legend has it, my name is Cresta Mark Ann Robinson. So
Mark Ann Rob. Jesus. All right. Are we ready for this?
I'm ready for this. Dun, 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 dun.
Where's the Sharpie? Here we go. For the audio people. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It is June 15th, 2023. We're smack dab in the middle of the month, and it's time for your Impact Wrestling post show. I am Actual Pearl, and as always, I am joined by the number one. She's getting a lot of work on this website, which I love, but I'm afraid that Collision might burn her out, and she'll never want to talk Impact again. Cresta Stars here. Hi, Cresta.
I'm doing well. I will always.
I never asked how you were doing, for the record.
Listen, I'm excited about it. I will not turn my back on Impact. What other wrestling promotion am I going to see people get murdered?
True, actually.
What other one?
They tried to evoke his name, and they wouldn't allow it tonight on the show. Big fan of that.
Say his name, and I was upset there was no Joe Hendry tonight. Very upset. I needed more Joe Hendry in my life.
That's true, actually. I'm looking forward to him hopefully popping back up soon. It was good stuff. So we'll see. Tonight's show, overall, what'd you think? You thumbs up?
In the beginning, it started off hot.
I'm not looking forward to talking about that opening segment.
I mean, honestly, the opening segment to me was better than the Bully Ray segment, which sucked. Whatever heat they had out of it, and by the end of it, I couldn't tell you what happened in the last two. It took forever to get to a match, but I was okay with it. But it started off hot, and then by the middle, I was just like,
did we lose her?
Did my internet die?
Yeah, it did. It was right as you were saying.
Did my internet die? Oh no. Not this.
This is great. This is you're back. Now you're back. You're here. Hi. Are you catching up? Cresta Star. Her internet is absolutely just
I don't know what happened.
Are you back?
I don't.
Can you? Oh, there she goes. Wow. Something's really going on. This is great. Yeah, this is a really promo heavy show. Maybe what I'll do is I will solo for a moment. Cresta will figure out what's going on. Oh, yeah, there we go. Listen, when she comes back, we'll bring back Cresta Star. So listen, show tonight. I'll do the solo for now until Cresta comes back. I hope she comes back because this show is infinitely more fun when I have her. But till then, it's me. And let's you know what? We'll dig right in. How about that? Personally, I thought the show was fine. It was really promo heavy, like I mentioned, and like it was mentioned in the chat. And so we're going to cover all of that and more. While you're here, go ahead, leave a thumbs up on the video. And also, if you don't mind, subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful, because we're on the way to 100,000 subscribers. And once we get there, I'm going to tell you something. We're going to get that beautiful silvery play button. And what are we going to do with it? We're going to tell everyone about it. You can tell everybody. No, I'm not going to sing. But we will open it up and it'll be beautiful. And I'm sure Jimmy will get one and Sean will get one. And I will not get one, but I will say I deserve one for a change. But I don't. But I'll get there. Either way, go to subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. If you want to support us financially, you've got a couple options. One, FightfulSelect.com. We'll talk about that later. The best $5 in the business. All the news you need and want and should have. And you can also support us here at youtube.com/Fightful by donating a super chat. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. Or if you want, go over to humperchats.com. I am monitoring those. Again, humperchats.com. We take a little bit more of the pie, or we get a little bit more of the pie, and then you can do a little bit more bang for your buck if you're a Young Bucks fan. How about that? So let's dig in. Let's start with BTI. George Iceman is in his very nice apartment. He's got a condo somewhere that I think is really good. So he's talking about how Bully wants repercussions, and he's expecting Scott D'Amore to face the repercussions of his actions, and says the office is tight-lipped, which is typical office work. Cresta's back. Hi, Cresta.
Yo, the internet couldn't take my beauty tonight. I am so sorry.
That's all right.
What happened?
That was wonderful. But it works. You're good now. You're back.
We're here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm so sorry about that. Where were we? We're beautiful people talking about Impact Wrestling.
I basically got into BTI. I talked about George Iceman. Let's talk about Laredo Kid and Jack Price versus Champagne Sting and Shera. Man, first of all, Sting's theme. It's bop. We got to talk about that. It's a great theme. It's still good. Gia pointing out that Laredo Kid continues to team up with former opponents. Good. Eventually, Sting beats Price with the champagne pop after he gouges the eyes. And then Heath comes out after the match, gets his revenge, takes out Sting and Shera with a wake-up call. I guess Rhino's coming back soonish. We'll talk about the promo in a few minutes. But what do you think of Laredo Kid, Jack Price versus Sting and Shera?
I actually thought this match was a really good showcase for Shera in particular. I thought he looked so strong. And also Jack Price too in defeat here. But I felt like, Jack Price, much like our good friend Sheldon G, you are here to take the pin. Yikes. But you looked great. He was selling. I believe he was getting his ass beat that match. Laredo Kid, as always, looked amazing. But I really thought for Shera in particular, this was a great showcase. Nothing really too out the ordinary. I already knew in my hardest of hearts who was going to win. The team or the Franken team.
Yeah, it felt like Laredo Kid kind of hung back throughout the match and Price take most of it, which is fine. Like, it doesn't make anyone look bad in this case. If anything, it makes Price look more powerful even in defeat. So it was solid match, good enough, and we move on. So let's talk about Impact itself. We open up with, this is going to take a few minutes, folks. Okay, so I'm going to monologue because it was like the first 20 minutes of this thing. The Motor City Machine Guns come out. We got new X Division champion Chris Sabin, new Impact World champion Alex Shelley. And then Sabin says, I had the craziest dream. Against all odds, we walked away with gold, but not tag team gold. I became the first ever 9-time X Division champion. And then I dreamt that finally, after 20 years of working his ass off, the one man who deserves it more than anything became the Impact World champion, and that's Alex Shelley. And said, but it wasn't a dream. It was a dream come true. And then Shelley grabs a mic and just says, oh, yep. The crowd did. That was very funny. The crowd
chanting, yup, yup,
yes.
Yup. I loved it.
I think it's fantastic that Shelley got this stupid yup over. Like, it's so, and I mean stupid in like the nicest way, because he did it. Like, he did the thing. He came out, said yup, and he beat him. So it's cool. I like that the fans have gone into it. Shelley continues, says, I ugly cried because for 20 years I had feelings of inadequacy, and this title means that I am good enough and I am not inadequate. And then for 20 years I made pro wrestling a better place because I have the Midas touch. Talks about Okada, talks about Jay White and the Young Bucks and Trey Miguel and Kushida and even Seth Rollins. And then it says, at one point I had to be selfish, and now I'm a champion because of the fans and because of the locker room. And then both men say it's the machine gun era of Impact Wrestling. And now here becomes the parade. Out comes Nick Aldis. This is the more important stuff. This is the more important stuff. Aldis says he called his shot at Against All Odds, and as did the Guns. And he says when Shelley walked to the back, everyone gave him a standing ovation, and Aldis said he hung out in the back. He just didn't want to steal from the moment for Alex Shelley. But Aldis wanted to come out tonight, congratulate Alex Shelley, and tell the story of his first encounter with Alex Shelley and how he built up Brutus Magnus at the time from being a young kid who didn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch. He used another one, headlock from a headlight.
Yeah, he said headlock from headlights. That was good. Wrist lock for a wrist lock from a nope.
That's the way I learned it, was wristwatch from a wrist lock. And the way he did it was headlock from a headlight. And I was like, that must be the British way to do it. And so,
you see how my brain just blue screened. Maybe he couldn't say it either. So
anyway, so he says now you got to add another world champion to that list, and that's Nick Aldis. Aldis says that Alex Shelley isn't looking at the same guy from all those years ago. He kept climbing, and then the crowd boos, and he's like, no disrespect, no disrespect. You know, Shelley, now you're at my level, and no matter who wins at Slammiversary, the company will have a great world champion. But Nick Aldis is willing to do anything to ensure that it's him. And now out comes Trey Miguel, and Trey Miguel starts talking shit. So Sabin says, come to the ring. And then out come Kenny King and Sheldon Jean, and they start talking about shit, and they call him the Million Opportunity Machine Guns and Nepotism Nick. I like that.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Yo, Kenny King got some zingers.
Sabin says, hey, maybe y'all should come down. And then out comes Giselle Shaw in her best Trish Stratus cosplay, along with Jay Vidal and Savannah Evans. Giselle says Spotlight should be mine, but Trinity took it from her, much like the Motor City Machine Guns and Nick Aldis took it from me, and they don't deserve it. And then she says, do you guys think you deserve it? And of course, she turns to Alex Shelley, and Alex Shelley says, yep. Shelley says there's no red carpet when we got here. They installed it. And then Giselle's problem isn't with them, it's with Trinity. So out comes Trinity. Trinity says Alex Shelley's school is in session and she's here to see Giselle get schooled. So Jay and Trinity were out. Jay says Trinity came out to get slapped by him again. Trinity threatens Jay Vidal. This is what I was talking about.
It's a lot. There's a lot in the first segment.
And then out comes Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo says, as of today, she surpassed 500 cumulative days as the Knockouts champion. And if we're talking about being knocked out, then she should be involved because she is the Knockouts champion. Aldis says a few things are going to change come Slammiversary. And then out comes Santino Marella. And he says he learned a few things from Ernest the Cat Miller, and that includes not passing up a good opportunity. So tonight he made the main event that's in my mind, and I'm going to tell you now. And he makes Motor City Machine Guns, Nick Aldis, Trinity, and Deonna Purrazzo versus Trey Miguel, Sheldon Jeans. He calls him Sheldon Jeans, which is great. Kenny King, Savannah, Georgia.
That was top tier. Santino's the worst. And the most endearing way, he is the worst. When he called this Savannah, Georgia.
And Giselle Shaw. So there you go. 100 people came out for the opening segment. What did you think of this Cresta star? Because I need a drink.
Bro, when you were saying that, I feel like I was hearing the Animaniacs song in the backwards. And then Giselle Shaw came out along with their David Dallas. No, it's true. I'm going to give y'all the bullet points. I don't think Nick Aldis is kind of wrong. But Nick Aldis has the problem that he's British. So no matter what he says, he sounds pompous. So that's why I feel like that's why they started booing him. Because he told Alex Shelley, now that you've ascended to my level, then they started booing him like, yo, bro, what are you doing? But I'm like, he kind of not wrong. Even by Alex Shelley's own admission, he's like, I've made all these people champions. When is it Alex Shelley's time? And now that it is, I mean, Brutus Magnus was a champion. You weren't champion. So technically, but you're British, bro. They're gonna boo you. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I just repeat what I see. Kenny King had that zinger. It was great. I liked that this was really overproduced. I like this. This was fine. Of the two really long segments of the night, this one was not offensive. It got the point across. I liked it. I don't think anyone here necessarily looked bad. But from this moment till it came on, I was like, damn. Sheldon Jean, you here to take the pin, huh?
I wasn't sure if it was going to be that or if it was going to be like Trinity pinning Savannah, Georgia.
That's not fair because I feel like we got nicknames for everyone. I was Nick All Distant. Georgia.
We only do that when he's doing the backstage segment. And by the way, I just want to put it out there. Jimmy Jacobs, as reported by Fightful Select, is now joined the AEW locker room. He's part of their creative team. He's left Impact Wrestling. So I'm just letting Scott D'Amore know. When you come back to being a president, if you need someone to host What's All This Then, I'm your guy. People might think it's you, Scott, with a beard doing the segment, but I could do it. I look good in a suit.
I'm not mad at Jimmy Jacobs. He went to the Jeff Jarrett school of getting a check. Somebody's going to pay me. You could do it.
I could do a 3-piece suit. I could do it just as well as the rest of them.
And you would look so dapper, Joel. Come on, Joel, with your little bow tie. Period.
That photo is from 2019, and my beard was way less white. Holy shit.
It's the stress of being a Faja. Now you see why your father cuts his.
My dad hasn't had a beard in a long ass time. Oh, my other dad. Yeah, I know him.
I meant Scott D'Amore dad. I've never seen Papa Pearl.
He was like, wait a minute, none of y'all met my dad. So
shout outs to Papa Pearl.
Anyway. He's probably no, he's not. So let's move on. So they set up this big 10-man tag, 10-person tag because it was an intergender match. Yeah, listen, this was a very NXT style booked promo, but it wasn't bad because it was like Parade of Champions and Challengers, but it's Parade of Champions and Challengers for various titles, whereas NXT would just have one champion and then a parade of challengers for that one championship. This kind of set up something, and it was also because it's Fallout from Against All Odds. It's the first show since Friday, it made sense. It was overbooked and stupid, but it was hilarious, and I liked it.
To me, it wasn't badly overbooked. I could get behind a good overbooking as long as it's funny or it makes some sort of sense. And to me, this made sense. The only thing that didn't make sense was Giselle Shaw, why are you out here? But I get it because you are selfish and the spotlight belongs on you. And how dare these men come out here and gaslight everyone? It should have been me. I loved it. I thought it was carny crap in the most endearing and loving way. I loved it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Watch it if you're bored.
The chat saying the side by side is ridiculous. Of course, I had to find the best photo I could. Daddy, can you hear me? It's also the chat saying, would I interview Nick Aldis as the replacement? I'd interview Nick Aldis even not in an official Impact capacity. Listen, the dude's had one hell of a run and he's still going. So I think he's either my age or he's a couple of years older than me. So he's been around for a long time. He came in young on this business. Speaking of which,
Joe Pearl is Canada based, so they'd save on travel.
I mean, Nick is in Tennessee, but whatever. I'm
trying to help.
Speaking of people my age and I have beef with, Steve Macklin. He's brooding. Says 2 years it took for him to become Impact World Champion, and then Scott D'Amore got what he wanted in a match that never should have happened, and it should have been called off because he hit his head in the turnbuckle. And then he basically says, and later confirmed, that Macklin versus Shelley is happening in Wagga Wagga in Australia. Those shows are airing on Fight TV, so they are going to be effectively part of Impact canon. Like there's going to be something to them. And it looks like, Macklin and Shelley. And when they made the announcement, I was like, okay, congratulations to two-time Impact World Champion Steve Macklin. Now, I don't know for sure because of what happened at the end of the night with Nick Aldis. So what do you think of this whole thing with Macklin, and how do you feel about this match going on in Wagga Wagga?
Macklin is pissed. He is mad. He's pissed. He is so mad. I mean, he has every right to be, but also, Macklin, you exposed the turnbuckle. Maybe that was an oversight, but that was you. But you know what? I don't know anything about this. I just watch it.
That's a piece of shit heel thing to do, though. That's the same thing Bully would say.
Absolutely.
That's what Bully did. He said he was mentally, his mental health was affected by Scott D'Amore coming back and taking him. Like it was the Bully bullshit promo. It was that kind of heel promo.
I also am upset because I think they said 5 a.m. and I'm like, if y'all think Cresta and Marcuson Star and Joseph Ronson Pearl, I don't know what his middle name is, I'm making it up. If you think we're going to be up at 5 a.m. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'll tell you a secret. I'm up at 6:30 every morning and I go to bed at 1 a.m. So
I'm awake until 6 o'clock and then I go to sleep at 7:30 because I'm a degenerate.
I gotta deal with having a kid. But anyway, the point is here, we're probably not going to do a post show, but the results will be on Fightful.com. So just go there. If there's a major happening, we will cover it on our post show on the Thursday show as per normal. Let's move on. Let's talk about the design. They said they lost. And Diener's like, well, who's to blame? Is it Sammy? Is it OVE? Or is it someone from within? And then he tries to blame Angels. And Angels pushes back. And he's just like, I left the last place because I was sick and tired of the way I was being pushed around. And he said, I've done everything that's asked of me, and I got a baseball bat to the face just for my troubles. And then they argue over who brought Angels in. And then he says, it wasn't you, Diener. It was the leader of Violent by Design. And that sets Diener off. They start arguing. Kaun yells and stops it. Says, this is exactly what Sammy wanted, which is to take out the design from the inside out. But now we have to take back our territory. What do you think of this promo? Because it reset the design in a very interesting way, but there's still a bunch of losers.
When he said the leader of the design has heard Joe Hendry's music and say his name and Eric Young's not dead. Oh, he's like Jesus on the third day. He will resurrect and deliver us from evil, which is Jobberton and A. I guess Sami Callihan is right. That my plan works because you guys are imploding from the inside. And also, there's a quote from a movie where this woman says, all my life I had to fight. And that's what Alan Angels was giving me. He's like, I left my former company because I was just doing what I was told, not getting nowhere. I come here and I'm doing what I told. I'm getting blamed for it, which is what we did speak about at Against All Odds when Alan Angels had a chance to finish it. Dina's like, no, do this. And Angel's like, bro, what are you doing? All right, I'm going to do it your way. And then you're going to blame me. Kaun is absolutely right. However, I am hoping, wishing on a star, crossing all my fingers, dotting on my I's, and not because I want the worst for Dina, just because I think that the design could use a lethal dose of whatever it is. Come on, Eric Young, come back. Come back, you crazy man. I don't care that you were losing right before you were tragically murdered. I need you to come back. Come on back. Come on back. I wouldn't hate it. Because where have you been? I miss you. Come back, Mr. Young.
I don't think you'll be seeing Eric Young anytime soon. He's very much in his contract and very much
the biggest heel in the business. Around. Let me dream.
Okay. Sorry, can't do anything about it. I wouldn't want him to get out of his guaranteed money either, but he's doing his thing. They're perennial losers, but they have to do something with the design, because other than having Diener and Angels argue, someone's got to step up to that group. Someone bigger has to take over the design, and it can't be Sammy, because it'll just be stupid. Or I don't know what to do. I really don't know what makes the most sense. Who can take over the design and make it, a good entity, not good guys, but like a good, powerful entity.
I mean, I'm also not opposed to sometimes they just don't work out the way, you want them to. If it means them breaking up and Angels gets his own thing, Kaun gets his own thing, and Diener gets his own thing, I don't hate it. I don't necessarily hate Sami Callihan running it, but I don't want it to be OVE 2.0. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. They're not bringing back Fulton full time. They're not bringing back Jake Crist full time. If they were to bring either of them back full time, I would have been really cool with Fulton taking over, or letting Jake Crist take over and feud with Sammy with the design. Again, who knows? This is a very weird time for them, but they're making chicken salad out of this, because again, losing that many matches in succession just does not make you look like a good group. It just looks like and again, the Kaun saying we need to win back our territory really feels like they're going to renew themselves somehow. We just don't know how.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's impossible for Violent by Design, or the design rather, to come back and be a dominant faction even in defeat. It just has to make sense. I will say them acknowledging it is a step in the right direction, that we're actually seeing some seeds of dissension, shows that they're becoming a more complex group. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not on my Honor No More wagon where I'm I'm tired of seeing them. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think it's possible. Again, even if they break up, I'd be okay with that. With the exception of Kaun, I think Kaun just needs a little bit more rubbing. But if the breakup angle gives him more rubbing where he's his own person, I could see any of them going for the X division, any of them going for the digital media, doing their own thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, but what if it's Edward Edwards?
Joel, you're a heel.
Okay, but
heel Pearl.
What if it's Edward Edwards? That's all I'm saying.
The leader of the design?
Yeah.
What has he designed successfully?
Honor No More, when it wasn't.
Okay, fair. That's fair. That I'm not a real hater. I'm a fake hater, but that's fair. That's fair. Not Honor No More at the end.
Until it became completely useless. Yes. Anyway, Moose versus Rich Swann finally happened a half an hour into the show, because of course it does. Moose has some really good stuff. Of course he does. The big story here, of course, is that Rich Swann rolls up Moose with that shocking pin finish, and it feels like Moose is closing out his time with Impact. We'll talk about that in a second, but there was some really good shit in this match. Let's dig in, because you had the big superplex from the top rope for Moose to Swann. Moose being caught with a big cutter as he came off the top rope by Rich Swann, and then Swann hit the springboard cutter for 2.9. But yeah, all it came down to was that roll-up finish. What do you think of this match?
I'm not going to hold you. I was kind of worn out a little bit after that first segment. So by the time we actually got to this match, it was kind of okay. But much like the BTI match, The only exception that I expected Moose to win, and when he didn't, I was like, holy crap. The only thing I really have of note is Moose trying to really bully the ref after Swan kicked out of that 2.5, and it was away from 3. I agree with Moose. That would have been 3. But the finish came right after that. I think that this match and the rest of the episode going forward really set the tone of this is angle driven and not match driven. So the match was fine. Moose did stiff things to Swan, and Swan overcame adversity. And that's not a shot at them. I'm thinking that the match was great. I'm just saying.
We're probably getting towards Rich Swann getting a title shot of some sort. Could be the X Division Championship. He could be in Ultimate X at Slammiversary, and now he's going to build up a few wins so that he can qualify for it. And then Moose is in this crisis of conscience thing because we go backstage, and Moose is walking around dejected, and he runs into Brian Myers, and he says, oh, it's my former best friend. He had a tough loss out there. He had a tough loss against all odds. Wouldn't have happened if we hadn't given up on a good thing. And the Moose is like, I want none of this right now. He said, don't even try it. And then Myers is like, hey, I failed too. Good hands didn't win the tag titles, but maybe Moose and Myers could beat Ace of Base. And again, this is something that we were kind of talking about before Good Hands got the tag title match, is that Moose and Myers are probably going to challenge real soon for that tag title match. I don't know how they get there. They have to win. But what do you think of Ace and Base versus Moose and Myers as a potential match at Slammiversary?
It's fine. I think that the trajectory that Bullet Club Aces of Base is doing right now, fantastic. You've had a benchmark against the Motor City Machine Guns, which now just went on to win their own separate gold, but still be a team. Moose and Myers is another good benchmark. You got Moose, who will do anything to win his piece of crap. And then you got Myers, who also will do anything to win, not because he's a piece of crap, but he's a pompous piece of crap. So I like it. I like it. I think that Bullet Club has been wrestling face for quite some time. So I think they need a dirty piece of crap heel team, especially a stiff heel team. So because they're both, Ace Austin and Chris Bay are both like heels. They have it in them. I've seen both their runs where they're pieces of crap. So I think that it's possible for both of them to dig in their heel bag to get rid of Moose and Myers. I don't think Moose and Myers will win. If they do, then my apologies. I've been wrong a lot, especially with Macklin. So I think it's a good benchmark. I think it's a great match for the both of them.
Yeah, I agree. And if there's one thing Myers is going to do, it's team up with people on their way out.
That's true. That's true. Maybe he's like a black cat that crosses your doorway.
That's apt. We were talking about the BTI match and then Heath hitting those wake up calls. But we go backstage to Heath, and this promo. Okay, I didn't hate this. It was just like it was kind of there. So Heath says like he doesn't say like, says my journey has been a roller coaster ride since arriving in Impact. Mentions he gets signed. He gets injured and he's out for 11 months, and then he has surgery and physiotherapy, and then he comes back only to find that Rhino is in Violent by Design, so he's got to rescue Rhino and bring him out of Violent by Design. And then Rhino was taken out by Honor No More, so he comes back and they win the tag titles, and then they sent Honor No More packing, but then Rhino got hurt again by Macklin and who was it? Sing Shira, so they have to, now he's got to breathe and figure it out. Is this a heel turn for Heath? Like, is this what we're getting into? Or what are we doing?
I wasn't thinking heel. I was thinking serious Dango, serious Heath. I wasn't thinking so much heel, but like, because nothing Heath has done necessarily has been heelish. Everyone he's attacked has attacked him first. So like, I don't think it's necessarily heel, but I think it's he was serious before, but I think it's more of a serious, maybe even borderline tweener, but not full on heel. Because I mean, he's not wrong. You were begging for a contract, you got the contract, crap happened between you, you saved Rhino got injured, it wouldn't make sense if he wants to do like a world title run, especially within the confines of Impact. Alex Shelley, who been baby, I'm begging, even though he putting people over. He's now champion. Why not he? Why not Rhino?
It feels to me with that promo that Rhino is the problem. Can you
believe?
Heath is like, I got signed, I got hurt, I came back. Haven't gotten hurt since, but guess who has? My tag partner. And he
They be
continues
beating
to
up
get hurt.
Rhino like they have to. Rhino, like he's a solid base man. Heath, you know, they always take it out his knees.
I could see Rhino coming and maybe turning heel, and they start a Heath and a Rhino program. I wouldn't hate that, but again, like they got to find a way to make Heath interesting. This promo was a good start, but I just don't know where they go from here with Heath as Rhino kind of preps to come back.
I'm interested to see what happens. I didn't take it as a heel turn, but I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, there's a lot on the bone. So that part I like. It's just make me care. Bully Ray. Let's talk about this promo. Comes out, he's got an official complaint that he lodged with Anthem management, and he does the whole, do you know who I am? And I'm coming around to this because this is great. Sorry, I know this is very bully to say. This is great heat. It is. It's good. It is.
Shit.
And he says, I am Bully Ray. I'm a victim of Scott D'Amore and the atrocious management at Impact Wrestling. But like he builds to that. He says, my name is Bully Ray. My name is Bully Ray and I'm a victim. My name is Bully Ray and I'm a victim of Scott D'Amore. My name is, and he repeats it. And the repetitiveness is so jarring, and so shitty, but it's so good. And I really do like it. It makes me hate Bully Ray more. And I just loved it. He blames Scott D'Amore for taking away his opportunity in the 841 world title match, or the 841 number one contendership match for the world title. And then Bully says he's been made to feel uncomfortable in the workplace and has not yet received an answer from Anthem's board of directors. His mental health is in decline. And then out comes Scott D'Amore. He says, Bully, you're a whining, stooging bitch. And then Bully calls Scott unprofessional and polite. And he says, I won't tolerate being spoken to like that. And then Scott says, you know what? You're right. I heard back from the Anthem board. I stood in front of them, and the board says that my actions against all odds were unbecoming of a president. And the board strongly advised that Scott takes a leave of absence, which Bully Ray calls music to his ears. And then he starts getting cocky and talking shit and saying, admit you were right, or I was right and you were wrong. And then Scott says, I agree with the board decision that as president, I couldn't do this. And then he proceeds to take down Bully Ray and give him the punches. And then out comes Steve Macklin. And then Macklin beats down Scott D'Amore. They attack him together. And then they set up for the broken neck spot, but it's not a concerto. They grab two chairs, and they were almost going to do it like a hammer and nail with the chair. And then the lights go out, and then out comes PCO. Bully and Macklin wallop PCO with the chairs.
Did you say wallop?
Wallop is the word I was using, yes, because they just whoop-ah. And then the next one, whoop-ah. And then he just nose hells it. And then PCO freaks out and punches the chair into Bully's face, takes down Macklin. Scott D'Amore dropkicks Macklin out of the ring, and then grabs the mic and says that it's Slammiversary. It's PCO and Scott D'Amore versus Macklin and Bully Ray. And at first I'm like, feels like this won't stand. And then Nick Aldis turned heel and everything got turned on its head. You didn't love this segment, and it gets even weirder when we go backstage. But what do you think of everything out in the ring? Give me your real thoughts there.
This sucked all the air out of the room. First of all, I think the pacing in which this segment came on, maybe if it was on maybe a little bit later, we just took 30 minutes to get to a match that maybe lasted 7 minutes. And then we had another long segment again. Maybe it's my fault for watching on Impact Plus, where it was just continuous. This felt like it did not end. Now I get what Bully Ray is doing. When you first came black, Jesus Christ. When you first came back, you were complaining to Josh Alexander that he's not a little snowflake and that you're not a little baby. And now look at you. My name is Bully Ray and I'm a victim. You are cosplaying Cartman from South Park, and I hate it. I hate it. It's such good heel work. Like, objectively speaking, sure, you are under my skin. But also, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to come out here and do that. When you literally came in and you were calling everyone a snowflake and little baby. Whatever. I do not want to see PCO and Scott D'Amore versus Bully Ray and Steve Macklin. I know I'm saying that now, but much like every time we've said it, it's going to come on and it's going to be great. But I hear my great grandmother rolling in her grave saying elder abuse. I feel like there's a better use of all four of these men's talents. I'm not excited. I'm not sports entertained. I guess I'm getting worked like a 9-to-5 or a stripper pole because I'm annoyed by it. So I guess it worked out. But I feel like if we got another match instead of this, it wouldn't have sucked the air out of the show, because for the rest of the show, this was me. And I liked the first match. This was almost just as overbooked as the first segment. But this one, I could not. I was upset.
Subscribe to Fightful Overbooked today.
This was overbooked. Jeff Jarrett booked it. Who's booking this?
So again, we talked about this. If it was Bully and Scott one-on-one, it was going to be overbooked madness and it was going to be fun. Adding Macklin to it just feels weird because Macklin was world champion.
Mm-hmm.
PCO is PCO. PCO fits in just about anywhere.
That's true.
But the one thing that really makes it weird is just the setting. It's just this match, they need to add a stipulation to it. They'll need to make it like Monsters Ball or some hardcore element will have to take its place, because that's the only way that this match is going to be as fun and brutal as it should be for a blow off, which is the thing. PCO is the weird factor in this, because it's always been Macklin and Bully versus Scott.
Yeah.
Scott brought in PCO for the match against Macklin right after Macklin won the title. So it's very quick to turn around and just be like, PCO, you get the match now. You get to team with me because you're my monster. So I'm just like, they're going to have to figure out a way to make it make more sense that Scott D'Amore and PCO are teaming up.
Because I agree with you on that. Because I always thought that PCO was in that first match against Macklin, because Macklin was telling Canada, suck it. You know what I mean? Like, I thought they were giving it to the girls. I mean, like you said, it's an easy pick, but I feel like Scott D'Amore trained almost everybody on that roster from Legend Has It. I feel like, not for nothing, PCO don't feel pain, so sure. But I do agree with you there. I feel like there could have been someone else, because PCO does feel a little weird in this situation.
Yeah, he's the odd man out. So they have to tell the story of why he was chosen. And Macklin, so we go backstage and Macklin is like, he's worried about PCO because Macklin could barely keep him down at Under Siege. And he's like, I tried. He listed all the ways that he tried, the cinder blocks and the hammers and the chairs and everything. And then Bully's like, you're a Marine, right? And he says, start acting like one. And he says, PCO is just a man. And then Kazarian is just randomly standing right there. And again, this is weird, but it actually makes sense in terms of like moving a couple of stories along. And he's like, you screwed around and found out. And then Bully starts getting weird and lipping off to Kazarian, and then Edward Edwards and Lish arrive, and they're just like, they're standing behind Kaz, and Eddie's standing in front of Kaz and just putting up for him. And then Bully threatens everyone, including Lish. And then they walk away, and Kazarian's just confused. And then we're just like, we're both Kowalski guys, and that's our bond. And I'm like, oh, Christ. That's the only reason you have to be friends? Is that your trainer is killing Kowalski?
I'm with Lish on this. So you just gonna bury the hatchet just like that?
And
I'm with Lish on that one.
I don't think that's what's happening. Like, Lish can't believe it, and neither can I, because I'm 99.9% sure that Eddie after this match is gonna beat the shit out of Kazarian.
Oh yeah.
And we'll set something up for Wagga Wagga or for Slammiversary, whatever it is. Like, this is clearly going to have more than one match. And Against All Odds was just the beginning of that story. So, false sense of security, the heel turns on the babyface, yada yada. And again, I don't hate that this segment went from, Bully and Scott to Bully, Scott, and Macklin to Bully, Scott, Macklin, PCO, and then back to Bully and Macklin, and then into Kazarian, and then we added Eddie. The flow worked in terms of telling multiple stories, but it felt a little jarring in the moment to be like, what's Kazarian and Edwards? Like, why is Kazarian just sitting there over in the chairs having a coffee in his gear? Like, what are we doing here? That was strange. What do you think of this?
It was very a wrestling anime moment. Quick, come over here. And Frankie Kazarian's in the corner. I see you study the blade. Like, what are you doing back here? Like, but you're right. It did move along the story. I think again that this could have been placed after another match. This whole segment, give me a chance to breathe after we just had a long talking segment. It wasn't bad. I don't know what's happening with Eddie Edwards and Frankie Kazarian. And I kind of don't care. I would care when the rest of the match starts. But whatever story y'all got going on, I feel like I'm going to care when Alicia hits you with a car, Kazarian.
Damn.
That's what I'm going to care.
All right. I mean, I get it. It's a really it was a really
awkward.
Yeah, it was a really awkward setup, but it makes sense. Again, the way that I explained it was just like the flow was weird, but the flow made sense. So we move on. Crazy Steve and Black Taurus team up as always. They are Decay. They take on Ace of Bays in non-title action. Ace of Bays have made it to 100 days as tag champions. That's good for them. Steve bites both Ace of Bays, so clearly you were very happy. And what does he get for it? Double super kick right to the face. Taurus gets taken out on the outside. They hit the Art of the Fold on Crazy Steve. Quick win for Ace of Bays. Let's just go right backstage. Commentary did mention, by the way, like the tag division is wide open, which I do appreciate because it's true. There are no real challengers right now, and that's where Moose and Myers come in. But Motor City Machine Guns meet them backstage, and they say, hey, tag division is in good hands. It's well taken care of. And then Bay says, we're happy that if Motor City Machine Guns don't have the tag titles, at least they have the X Division and World titles, and that makes them happy. Good show of respect, because again, this all started when Motor City Machine Guns and Ace of Bays were kind of feuding, and Motor City Machine Guns were being cocky and telling them, hey, go to Japan, learn a new hold, come back. And then Ace of Bays won the New Japan Strong titles, tag titles. Did they? No. Motor City Machine Guns definitely did. Ace of Bays did.
Motor City Machine Guns did, but Ace of Bays just got really far, I think, in their Super Junior tag team thing.
Yeah, you're right. I got confused. I thought maybe it was because of I said
there's a lot of wrestling. It's very easy to become confused. I get confused every day.
Anyway, point is there's respect there because finally both teams have made it. Both teams are baby faces, so everyone's happy. Anything about Ace of Bays and the match and Motor City Machine Guns in the background?
Very simple. Nothing to add.
Wonderful.
I mean, that's how I felt about this show. Was not about the matches. Let me say that. I think we got 3 matches in total, and one of them was the main event. This was the second one, and technically 4 if you include BTI, and 1, the BTI match, this match, and the match before it, standard stuff. I'm like, this is it. The in-ring is good all the time. I have nothing to add. I apologize for my outburst.
Well, what else is good all the time is FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the business, folks. Listen, you want all the CM Punk news? More of it. There's more of it. Cresta, every day there's CM Punk news of some sort.
Every day?
Every single friggin' day. We're talking about this guy who returns on Saturday on AEW Collision, which you are doing the post show with Ricky Chino and Iridian. So we're already talking about the guy. Over on FightfulSelect.com. You want the elite? You want to know what their contract status is? What's going on there? FightfulSelect.com. You want to learn about Jimmy Jacobs, former Impact talent, former Impact writer, guy who made some of the best stories in WWE in a time when WWE stories were Jimmy Jacobs going to AEW. That's on FightfulSelect.com. And of course, we've got the Q&A with Sean, the Ask Grapsody guys. You got Sour Graps with Alex Pulaski and Miss Kate Fabe. You've got so much content over on FightfulSelect.com. Again, the best $5 in the business. It sounds like a stupid slogan that we use, but it's true. $5, you're getting more content than most people will give you for $2. So get on it. FightfulSelect.com. Okay, do it, or else I'll send Steve Macklin after you.
Yeah.
Do I have that ability?
I mean, one of you are a champion.
That's true. One of us is a champion.
And it's not who you think.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. It's me. Jim Miller is with Bhupinder Gujar, and they're talking about his diary promo. They show that. And then Dirty Dango walks in. Serious wrestler Dirty Dango says the Gujar story is probably that he worked hard to get to the Impact Wrestling, and now he hopes somebody will make him a star, just like everybody else. Except for the Hog Mask guy. He gets it. They bring back the Black Taurus bit. I love that bit. They said they should make a Dirty Dango doc, and the Gujar just calls Dango a bitter asshole.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
He walks off, and then Dango, oh my God, I can't believe I have to say this. Dango says he thought that the backstage interview girls were supposed to be hot, and Gia
Which
Millie,
is malarkey. Gia Miller, you're very
She
beautiful.
is
You
a
are
beautiful-
gorgeous,
Yeah.
okay? It's malarkey.
She just-
And you're funny.
she stares in disbelief.
It was the look of, gee, she's a clown. I love her. You're beautiful, Gia Miller. Don't listen to a man who's part of fashion police and know anything about fashion. He wore a $200 ripped t-shirt.
Damn. $2.
Nah, he probably spent a lot of money to look that cheap. To prove a point.
Oh man. Well, we get the beginning of the cards for those Australia shows. We talked about the world title rematch between Macklin and Alex Shelley. They also added Deonna Purrazzo versus Giselle Shaw. And they added the stipulation that if Giselle Shaw wins, it's now a 3-way at Slammiversary. Cresta, what do we talk about it against all odds?
You did, because you are Third Eye Joel. You are the all-seeing wrestling god.
Someone's
got
got to
the
eat that
sauce.
pin. Someone's either got to eat that pin or win that world title. And I think,
I think Shaw's eating that pin.
buddy, I don't even know what to do anymore. But Giselle Shaw, I like that there are stakes to this whole thing. It makes the shows in Australia a little bit more interesting than just a tour down under. And then next week on the show, OVE takes on the Good Hands and Brian Myers. The Design takes on the team of Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Jonathan Gresham. So we're reliving that again. Taylor Wild takes on Killer Kelly, Kinky Kelly. Macklin and Bully Ray take on Kazarian and Edward Edwards. There's more than 3 matches next week. There are 4. Excited for that?
At least it's not 9 times.
9 time. Anyway, main event time. Trinity and Deanna and Motor City Machine Guns and Nick Aldis versus Giselle Shaw, Savannah, Georgia, Kenny King, Sheldon Jeans, and Trey Miguel. Early on, this is a fine match. This is a good Impact main event. This is a post TV main event. Very like WWE post pay-per-view 2010, all the champions versus all the guys they just faced. 5-on-5. Let's get him in the ring. I do love the double submission spot where Deanna's got the arm bar on John Evans, and then Trinity's got Starstruck on Giselle. Trey Miguel and Sheldon Jean break that up. And then meanwhile, Chris Sabin at one point is on the floor. Kenny King distracting the referee while everybody beats up Chris Sabin, which I love.
That was funny. Poor Chris Sabin. All you try to do is be great, and you literally got jumped.
And then later in the match, Sabin, who got beat down for an eternity, he plants Kenny King with the tornado DDT, gets a hot tag to Alex Shelley. And then we just go through all the regular stuff. You know, everyone breaks down. And then Shelley comes in. Jay Vidal takes out Trinity. And then Shelley smacks him. And the referee is checking on King. So all the stuff's going on. Aldis throws out Jay Vidal. It breaks down until Shelley hits Shell Shock on Sheldon Jean, gets the pin. And then Aldis, this is really the news that matters. Nick Aldis goes to present Alex Shelley with his Impact World Championship. But instead of presenting it to him, he presents it to his face and hits him with it. And then Sabin chases Aldis out. And like Aldis said, by any means necessary. What do you think of the match? And the big news here is Aldis is firmly being a douchebag.
Like I said at the beginning, when he was doing his promo, it's truly because you're British. Everything you say sounds pompous. Everything you do has an extra, ew, the British, So him being heel, I think that does solve the face v face problem. You've been hanging, that's Bully Ray's been hanging with Steve Macklin. I think that it is a good idea. I do see Nick Aldis winning the belt, and I don't like that, but it would make sense if he's being a big time jerk to Alex Shelley, who had something to prove, who overtook Steve Macklin, who was being a jerk. The match itself was great. I liked how Trinity, Giselle, and Deanna were working really stiff with each other. Very smart of Sheldon Jean and Trey Miguel to pull the girls out the ring so they didn't get the pin or tap. Well, they didn't get tapped, rather. Overall, the match itself was good. I think it was mostly, again, about the post-match with Nick Aldis turning heel. Nothing wrong with it. I hope that something good comes of it. But I do, eventually when Aldis and Shelley clash, I do see Aldis taking it off of Shelley, unfortunately. So I think this is the right seeds to plant. So when that does happen, we're like, okay, I hate it, but I don't hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we said in the crossover, the turn kind of cements a few different things that we thought. One being that fans one that was Aldis was going to come in and he was going to win the world title. Like that was the number one. And then two, fans weren't going to enjoy it if it was Nick Aldis coming in as a babyface, taking it from someone who's been carrying the flag.
Yeah.
Steve Macklin or Alex Shelley for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter how much of a heel you make Macklin. Fans of Impact are going to cheer Macklin over Aldis at this point because Aldis just showed up, whereas Macklin's been doing this for 2 years with the company. Shelley's been doing it for 20 years with the company.
That's a fact.
But once you turn it on its head and you make Nick Aldis the heel, it works that the fans are going to get the thing they don't want, but it's going to be storyline driven. It's going to be Nick Aldis being a piece of shit because now he's a heel and he's going to win it off of a guy, whether it's Macklin or Shelley, it doesn't matter, who is a major player in Impact Wrestling. And Aldis can then be like, I used to be that guy. Why don't you like me like you like them? What do I not have that they don't have? He's going to go back to just being that piece of shit, full of himself heel.
I love it.
But now he can do it in a way that's like today. And then there's a third side to this, and that's his wife. And when Mickie James is ready to come back, and she comes back as a badass heel, that is going to be equally fun because she's going to take on someone like Deonna Purrazzo, who she never gave the belt to at Rebellion, and then we're off to the races there.
I will say this too. There's another spinning plate too. So let's say Aldis does beat Shelley. Who got the X Division title? None other than Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley's good best friend. To do what you got to do to avenge your brother. There's a lot of spinning plates here.
Yeah.
This episode itself, I think, really set things off in the right direction. Not a lot of in-ring action, and the ones that the matches that were there were solid, but a lot of stories got pushed ahead. And this whole match, the backstage thing, like you said, we're coming here, drawing up lines to different matches. Really good, solid stuff.
Yeah, so this wasn't a bad episode by any means. It was much more of a story-driven episode, and it didn't overstay its welcome. I definitely I looked at the clock when they got to the main event. I was running behind as well, so I was trying to take notes and go back and forth. But I was able to catch up by the main event, and there was still a lot of meat on the bone. So it was a good episode. Everything worked out. Next week is going to be a more wrestling heavy by the looks of it, and it'll probably set up the other side of the card and where we're going on a bunch of other matches, which I appreciate. So with that in mind, Cresta Star, plug a shit.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cresta Star. You can find me Wednesdays and Fridays over on Twitch or TikTok.com at Cresta Star. I stream wrestling, AEW, and SmackDown, and AEW again. I also am here on Thursdays with Joe Pearl, the lovely man that you see with me, and on Saturdays, I have to think about it for a second. And on Saturdays, I'm going to be joined by Rick, your wrestle friend Iridian, and sometimes Sean Ross Sapp, all Sapp, no cap. We're going to be talking about AEW Collision with your favorite coconut mango punk. We're going to be doing all of that over on Fightful. You guys can find me on Twitter with a link tree in my bio at Cresta the Star, on all forms of social media at Cresta Star. Like I said, link tree in bio, Cresta the Star on Twitter. Click it, get your life. Joe Pearl, where can they find you?
Oh, you find me in the weeds every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on FightfulOverbooked.com. Go to youtube.com/FightfulOverbooked. Tomorrow, Iridian from the Collision Post Show and a bevy of other shows that she is a part of. She'll be with us in the morning. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern. We run till about noon. Tomorrow, I think we're running late for some reason. So stick around. So the show's going to go till 12:30 or something Eastern time. That's in the weeds. Thursdays, I'm here with Cresta, of course. Anywhere else, just follow me at Joel Pearl because I am not hard to find at JOELPEARL. Until then, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Goodbye, Liz.